When we collect the portion, we're gonna show the effect as you seen. Okay, I'm gonna leave in the description of this sprite, you can go check that. Go to assets. Okay, go to assets. So I'm gonna drag the first one into the scene view as you can see, and I'm gonna move it something in the top in the hierarchy, and we're gonna name this to something like effect. Okay, effect. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna create the animation effect animation first. So select the effect firstly, and I'm gonna move this animation tab over here. We're gonna create the effect. Okay, select the effect and hit this create button and create a animation folder first, and we're gonna go over to assets. Okay, then we have created this animation folder, we're gonna go over to that, and we're gonna rename this we're gonna name this if animation to effect something like that, and hit enter. I'm gonna replace this one. So now we have created. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drag the sprites over here. As you can see, we have 5 sprites. So hit this record button to record the animation and select the effect. Okay, and here select all of the sprites and move it into animation tab. And if we now play, it's I guess pretty fast. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make spaces between these sprites. So we're gonna move it over something like 3, and if we play, as you can see, it's fine. I guess we're gonna move it something like 20 now. 20 now it's fine. Okay, and hit this record button, 1 second, the red button to capture the animation. Okay, if we go to animation. Okay, we have animation folder, we have created that effect animation. So if we select, as you can see, effect animation. So what we're gonna do, go to inspector, we're gonna uncheck the loop time, so the animation will not be looped. Okay, so we're gonna uncheck this, and we're gonna move the animation tab over here once again down. And if we select the effect, and if we select the animator tab, as you can see, effect animation by default it will be played. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make prefab of this game object. So go make a prefab folder in assets, and we're gonna go over to prefab folder. So we're gonna drag it into that effect. Okay, now we have created the prefab of this effect. Now if we delete from the scene view, we can directly drag it into the scene view, as you can see. Okay, as you can see. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna show that effect whenever we collect the portion. Okay, whenever we collect the portion. So if we go to player script, and if I open over here, we destroying that portion. Whenever we destroying the portion, double click that to open up in Visual Studio. So over here, as you can see, on trigger enter, we destroying other dot game object, basically means the portion game object. So before we destroying the portion game object, what we gonna do, we're gonna show that effect. So we need to create an empty game object, then we're gonna drag this prefab. Okay, if we go to prefab folder, we're gonna drag this effect. Okay, so this is, as you know, this is an game object, we're gonna show that effect. So what we need, we need to create an empty field of game object. So go over to top, and we're gonna make public. Okay, public game object, as you know, that is also an game object. So we're gonna make it game object, and we're gonna call it something like effect prefab. Okay, effect prefab, and close that off with semicolon and control s on your keyboard to save this and head again to Unity. You will able to see in the player JavaScript and prefab effect prefab will be appeared. So what we need to drag this effect prefab into that slot, then we will have this effect game object, then we can show it anywhere we want. Okay, you can show it anywhere you want. I'm gonna show it whenever we collect the portion. Before we destroying the portion, we're gonna show that effect. Okay, we're gonna show that effect, then we're gonna destroy the portion game object. So as you can see, effect prefab which is says none, basically empty. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drag this effect into that slot. Now we have the effect game object. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to a script once again over here. As you can see, destroying. Before we destroying, we're gonna instantiate, or we're gonna spawn that effect, we're gonna show that effect. So we have to use this function instantiate. Okay, instantiate. So what we're gonna do, so this function will take three arguments. The first one, it will take the game object you want to instantiate. So basically we want to show that effect game object. And the second parameter, it will take the position from where you want to show that effect. So we're gonna show it where in the center of the portion game object. Whenever we collect that portion, we're gonna show that effect in that center point, okay, portion center point. And the third argument, it will take the rotation. We're not gonna rotate something like that. We're gonna set it to something like quaternion dot identity. Basically means it means no rotation. So we're gonna show that effect prefab, sorry, effect prefab game object. And the second parameter, comma, second parameter, we're gonna pass the other, okay, other dot transform dot position. Basically means other dot over here is basically means the portion. So we are going to transform of that portion game object, and we are just passing the position over here. As you can see, other dot transform dot position basically means it's mean the current position of the portion, okay, center position basically. And the third argument, it will take the rotation. So we're not gonna rotate, so we're gonna use this quaternion dot identity and close that off with semicolon, okay, and control s on your keyboard to save this and head again to unity. So we will able to say, before we destroy that game object, okay, before we destroy that game object, we will show that we're gonna show that effect game object, okay, effect animation prefab or prefab basically. And as we know, we are using instantiate function, and instantiate function takes three arguments. The first, it will take the game object you want to instantiate or spawn, and the second thing, it will take the position, and it third thing, it will take the rotation. Okay, now if we hit play, and whenever we collect the portion, before we destroying, what we are doing, we are instantiating that effect game object, okay. So just wait for to compile and you will able to see that. So if we, as you can see, we show it. But what we're gonna do, we also need to delete this destroy this effect game object. As you can see, it's not destroying from, as you can see, it's not destroying from scene view or hierarchy. We also need to destroy this and destroy this effect game object, okay. But when should we destroy this effect? Whenever we complete the whole animation, okay, of the effect. So if I select the effect game object once again, and if I go to animation tab, okay, and if I play over here, as you can see, point 2, as you can see, point I'm gonna move it something like point and hit. So point 2 over here, as you can see, we are completing the whole animation. So after we complete the whole animation, what we're gonna do, whatever we instantiate, we're gonna destroy that game object, okay. So we're gonna destroy this whenever the animation has been complete. We're gonna destroy this effect game object as well. So else it will not be destroyed, so the game will be lucky, it will hold too many game objects. So that's why we also need to destroy that effect game object. So we're gonna go over to script once again. Over here, as you can see, we instantiating that effect a game object. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put it into a game object, another game object variable, okay. Basically we're gonna put it into a container, okay. So we're gonna make game object. As you know, this is a game object effect, so that's why we are writing over here game object, and we're gonna call it something like temp, for short for temporary, okay. So whatever we instantiating, okay, we basically instantiating the effect game object, and then we are just putting into this temp game object. Basically it's will work like a container, so we are putting into this temp container, okay. So we also need to delete this container, or whatever we instantiating, we are putting into this temp, and then we also need to delete this temp or the container or the temp game object. So as you know, it will destroy the container, basically means the whatever we instantiated, we also destroying that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use destroy function, okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna destroy the temp game object, basically the container, okay. So whatever we instantiating, we are putting into this temp variable, temp game object variable. Basically it will work like a container. So destroy function, okay, destroy function will take the game object you want to destroy, and second parameter, you can specify the time, okay. So as you know, we completing after I guess we 0.2 second we completing the whole animation. After completing the whole animation, we're gonna destroy the container as well, but whatever we have instantiating, we also gonna destroy that. So we're gonna specify the second parameter, which is time. So as we know, after 0.2 second we completing the whole animation, then we destroying. So close that off. So my colon, as you can see, we whatever we instantiating, we putting into this temp variable or temp container, you can say, and we are destroying this temp container after 0.2 second. As you can see, we specified the second parameter as a time. So after 0.2 second we completing the whole animation as you seen, and then after after completing the whole animation, we destroying this temp game object, as you can see. Okay, we specified the time as a second parameter. So control s on your keyboard and close that off. So my colon, and head again to unity. So okay, you will able to see after 0.2 second that time game object will also get destroyed. Okay, basically whatever we instantiated, we putting into that temp variable, and we also deleting the temp variable. Okay, after 0.2 second, basically we completing the whole animation 0.2 seconds. So that's why we specified the second parameter, which is time, which is 0.2 second. Okay, so if I now hit play, you will able to see the time whatever we instantiated, it also will be destroyed after 0.2 second. Okay, after 0.2 second. So after, so now, so if we trigger with this portion, as you can see, we destroyed in the hierarchy or the scene view as well. We are not able to see the effect game object over here because we destroyed. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so I hope you get the idea about how to show effect. You can show it anywhere you want. Okay, for this that is for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then like this video and share it with your friends. Okay, and if you are new to my channel, then subscribe it for upcoming tutorials on game development.